Make sure there's no holes. Make sure there's no missing rivets. Make sure it's in good condition. I'm going to check the side of my trailer as well to make sure there's no hole, no missing rivets, all the way from the nose to the rear of the trailer. I'm also going to check to make sure I have DOT approved reflector tape all the way down the side of my trailer. I'm going to check my clearance light at the top of my trailer. It should be amber in color, not cracked or broken. It should be securely mounted and it should be working properly. Okay? We're going to move down to the landing gear. Okay, we're going to check the landing gear. Make sure that it's not cracked or broken. Make sure it's secure. I'm going to check my landing gear supports to make sure that they're not cracked or broken. Make sure they're securely mounted. No missing bolts. I'm going to check the sand chute to make sure it's securely mounted. Make sure it's free of any trash or debris. I also want to make sure that it's fully raised off the ground and my crank handle is in the lock or stowed away position. I have a marker light here. My marker lights also function as my left turn signal on this side and four-way flasher. On the other side is my right turn signal. It should be amber in color, not cracked or broken, securely mounted, and it should be working properly. Underneath my trailer, under here, I have my cross members underneath my trailer. I want to make sure that they're all, cross members. These or ribs. Some people call them ribs. I call them cross members. Okay, so these little ribs underneath the trailer, make sure they're not cracked or broken. Make sure they're securely mounted. None are missing. Okay. So we're gonna move to the suspension in the rear of our trailer. So we're gonna start with our spring mount. Okay, I'm gonna check my spring mount to make sure that it's not cracked or broken. Make sure it's securely mounted. Make sure there's no compromises to the welds on my spring mount. Now I have a torque arm. My torque arm is right here. It's not cracked or broken. It's securely mounted, and my torque arm is adjustable. On the other side is gonna be my torque rod. Okay, I will check the torque rod to make sure that it's not cracked or broken, securely mounted, no missing bolts on my torque.
Torque rod is the long one. Torque rod, right? Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, okay, so what's this one?
This is torque arm. Torque arm is always adjustable. It's always on the driver's side. Torque rod is not adjustable, and it's always on the passenger side. Okay. Also back here I have my leaf springs now. Okay, I want to check my leaf springs to make sure they're not cracked or broken. Make sure they're not shifted. If I have 4 or more, so in this case, if I have 4 or more, I'm allowed a quarter damage. But I would have to get it serviced right away. If I have less than that, I'm allowed no damage. I also have my U-bolts back here. Make sure the U-bolts are not cracked or broken. Make sure they're securely mounted. No missing nuts on the U-bolts.
Wait. I have a question.
Yes.
So if we're doing a test and we only have 2, do we still have to mention the 4?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because that's how you would check it.
gotcha.
All right, so now we're gonna move into our braking system. Okay, so once again, half the stuff that I mentioned, you're not gonna be able to see. So my brake hose, no abrasions, bubbles, cuts, or leaks. Make sure it's securely mounted on both ends. My brake chamber, not cracked or broken. Make sure it's securely mounted. Make sure that it's not leaking. My brake chamber clamp, make sure it's not cracked or broken. It should be secure, tight around the brake chamber. My slack adjuster should not be cracked or broken, securely mounted, has a cotter pin. My push rod should not be bent, cracked, or broken. It should be secure, have no more than 2 inches of travel when the brakes are released and pulled by hand. My brake drum, not cracked or broken, no gluing or glazing, which would be indication of overheating brakes. My brake lining, not cracked or broken, secure, should be no less than 1/4 of an inch at its most thinnest point. Okay? So we got our tires, once again, using the ICP method, inflation, condition, and depth. So my inflation, I would check for the manufacturer specs on the sidewall. I would use a commercial air gauge at my valve stem. While I'm at the valve stem, make sure that it's not cracked or broken, secure, make sure it's not leaking, and it should have the DOT approved cap. My condition, I'm going to check the outer and the inner wall to make sure there's no abrasions, bubbles, cuts, or leaks. Make sure I have a evenly worn tread pattern. Also back here, I'm allowed recaps or retreads, but no mismatched tires. My tread depth on my third axle should be no less than 2/32 of tread. Also, I will check the bud spacing to make sure that it's free of any trash or debris. Make sure I have an even gap all the way around, and I will make sure that both rims are butted against each other. No, nobody caught what I missed on my second axle. I didn't do the rim on the second axle. I just thought about that.
You did it.
I was wondering. No, I didn't.
Oh no, nigga, no.
Yeah. Why y'all didn't say nothing? No,
I mean, you wasn't done.
You didn't want to interrupt you. You're all right. Everybody's saying that now. Nobody called it until I just said something. I'm gonna check my rim
Over my
to
head.
make sure it's not cracked or broken, no illegal holes or illegal welds on my rim. I'm gonna check all my lug nuts, make sure that none are missing, make sure they're secure, make sure there's no shiny spots or rust around my lug nuts. Now I have my oil hub. I'm gonna check the oil hub, check the spider bolts first to make sure that none are missing, make sure they're all tight. Check the oil hub to make sure it's not cracked or broken, make sure it's not leaking and it's secure. If I need to check the level, I can pop this little rubber cap out right here. If the oil spills out, I'm okay. If not, I can stick my finger in. If it goes up to my middle, to my first indentation of my finger, I'm fine. But if it doesn't, I'm gonna refill it by using 90 weight gear oil.
Where you put
Did
it
I
at?
get everything? I can feel it right here.
Did we have to say that?
Since you asked me, yeah.
Hey, once you say we forgot something, did tell you.
All right, we have an ABS indicator light here. It should be amber in color. It should come on in seconds of me starting the vehicle. If it stays on, that means I have problems with my braking system. I need to get a service right away. I can still drive it, but I need to get a service as soon as possible. I have a marker light right here. My marker light is red in color, and I cracked the broker securely mounted. This one also function as my brake light. Okay.
So this is for reflection too, right?
No, that's just an ABS indicator. Okay.
So all these
Just there's your on the side of the trailer your
are 4-way flashers and
turn signal, left turn signal. Both of them. Both of them. All right, so I have my splash guard. Okay, make sure it's not ripped or torn. Make sure it's securely mounted. I want to make sure that it's covering both tires. Should be no lower than 2 inches, no higher than 8 inches off the ground. When I get to the rear of my trailer, I'm going to start out with my clearance lights first at the top. My clearance lights are going to be red in color, and I cracked the broken, securely mounted, and they should be functioning properly. And then I'm going to drop down to the rear lights. The two on the inside are going to function as my tail lights and my brake lights. The two on the outside are going to function as my left, right turn signal and my forward flashers. They should be red in color, and I cracked the broken, securely mounted, and they should be functioning properly. I'm going to check my door. I'm going to start out by checking all the hinges on my door to make sure none are not cracked or broken, to make sure they're securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts on my hinges. I would also check the door handles to make sure that the door opens and closes properly, make sure it's securely mounted, not cracked or broken. I'm going to move down to my DOT bumper. Make sure that it's not cracked or broken, make sure it's securely mounted. There's no compromises to the welds on my DOT bumper. Also make sure I have DOT approved reflector tape on my DOT bumper. A lot of people check the license plate, but if the license plate not cracked or broken, no missing bolts, make sure it's secure, it's up to date. I will check my license plate light, make sure it's not cracked or broken, secure, and make sure that it's working properly. And that's Form C.